What Richard Simmons here. Now, here is my throwback summary where I talk about the films that turned 10 and 20 this week. Alright, the films turning here, we got Alex Cross. Now, Alex Cross, which was directed by the Fast and Furious and XXX director Rob Cohen, starring Tyler Perry. Who will ever guess that Tyler Perry could be looked at as an action star? I love Tyler Perry, don't get me wrong, but always seeing him as like trying to put on an action stuff is always odd. But you know what? My come to shock you, Tyler Perry isn't that bad of an actor. Take the Medea side out of it, okay? When this guy really, appears and stuff, he can actually be really good. Like even when he does stuff like that, he's not directing. Like few I could probably think of when he popped up in the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie. He was actually pretty good in Gone Girl. So take the so he's actually not that bad of an actor. Like yeah, I'm one of the rare folks who don't mind his Medea movies. I really get a kick out of them. But sometimes when he actually stars in a film that he's not even directing, he could be really good. I mean, yeah, Tyler Perry, I think, is really good. Like, he should start doing more of those, like, more roles, like, his roles in Gone Girl and stuff. Like, he, we'll see if he'll ever continue those type of roles. But anyway, now as for Alex Cross, it is of course based on the very popular books by James Patterson. The character of Alex Cross has been portrayed by Morgan Freeman before in Kiss the Girls and dang it, what was the another film he did? Along Came a Spider. Now, if Alex Cross, stars Tyler Perry, who works as a detective and psychologist for the Detroit Police Department, and with along his lifelong friend named Tommy Kane, played by Ed Burns, and Detective Monica Ash, played by Rich Nichols. And Cross's, latest case puts him on a closer course with a serial killer named Pisasso, played by Matthew Fox, who, yeah, whatever happened to Matthew Fox, man? I mean, remember when he was like the big thing with Lost? He's popped up and stuff here and there. I mean, man, it's such a shame that Matthew Fox had not became a bigger name star. But anyway, so yeah, and of course, Matthew Fox also, of course, you also have this industrialist named Gilles Maurer, played by Jake Reno, um, who becomes an ultimate target here for Picasso as well. And so, yeah, Alex Cross, I'm just going to say right now, this movie is horrible. I mean, it could have been better. Like, Matthew Fox, he gave it his all. He was like very unrecognizable here too. Like he really lost a lot of weight for this role. But at the end of the day, yeah, this movie is just not that great. The performances on that isn't that great, except for Matthew Fox. He, like I said, he maybe was his performance was probably the better part. But other than that, Alex Cross is just not all that great in my opinion. I believe Cicely Tyson was also in this too, if I'm not mistaken. So had a good cast, just lots of were really their talent was really wasted on this. Anyway, also during 10, we got Paranormal Activity 4. Now this stars now this was actually starring ooh, now this one actually starred Catherine Newton, who would go on to appear in movies like Billboards, Detective Blockers. She's actually said she would play Casey Lang in the upcoming Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. And this was actually her first like major big role here. And this one took place about like 5 years since Kay, played by Kate Featherston, murdered her sister and disappeared with her infant nephew Hunter. And now a family is about to fall prey to the nighttime terror, where a mysterious accident next door leads this teen girl named Alex, played by Nguyen, and her family becoming the temporary guardians of Robbie, played by Bradley Allen. And you also got like a very creepy neighbor boy here, and cameras like installed throughout Alex's home capture the sinister events here. I mean, I admit, of all the sequels, Paranormal Activity 4 just might be my favorite of the franchise. I know this movie did not really get the best love, but I had a fun time. I thought it was even creepier than the other ones. I mean, of course, the Paranormal Activity movies has been going on for years. Ever since 2009 or 8, or I can't remember when the first one got released. But yeah, and of course, and they're still doing them. Like we're getting a new Paranormal Activity movie sometime next year on Paramount Plus. So there's that. But yeah, Part 4 wasn't so bad in my opinion. All right. Now we also got a couple of small movies turning on 10. We got a movie called The Sessions, which is actually which is a really incredible true story actually, about Mark O'Brien, played by the great John Hawkes, who throughout a childhood where like he was when he was like born with polio that left him dependent on an lung, and he maintains a career as a journalist and poet, writing assignment dealing with sex and the disabled Hodges, our curiosity, and he decides to because he's actually a virgin, and so he decides to, long story short, he decides to investigate the possibility of experiment of doing these stuff, and so he ends up hiring this surrogate named Cheryl Green, played by Helen Hunt, so he can lose his virginity here. And The Sessions is terrific. I mean, John Hawkes. How on earth is John Hawkes not an A-list star? He's been in some really good stuff like Deadwood. He was also in Martha Mossy May Marlene. He was in what's that Jennifer Lawrence, like her breakout movie? Where's Bone? I think was called. How on earth is John Hawkes not an A-list star? Like this dude always so good every time he pops up and stuff, and he is so good in this. I mean, Helen Hunt, of course, scored an Oscar nomination because we just saw a lot of Helen Hunt in this, if you know what I mean. But I still, how on earth did John Hawkes not get a nomination? I guess the Best Actor race was pretty packed with Denzel Washington. Lee Bradley Cooper scored an Oscar nomination that year. Uh, yeah, I guess the Best Acting race was pretty stacked. But man, John Hawkes should have got one. He was so good in this. And you also had William H. Macy as a priest. One more key asked for Frank Gallagher as a priest. Okay. Uh, but yeah, if you guys have not seen The Sessions, do yourself a favor, go watch. I mean, it's a really intriguing true story, and I thought this movie was fascinating. All right, speaking of movies about someone trying to lose their virginity, also turning 10 is another film about someone wanting to lose their virginity, and it's a movie called The First Time. Now, this is about these two teens played by Dylan O'Brien and Britt Robinson, who decides to meet at a party and want to lose their virginity and stuff. You also had like Victoria Justice was in this. I love Victoria Justice, so anything she's in, I was just watching Heartbeat. And this was actually, I believe this was like Dylan O'Brien's first feature film, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, he was pretty popular because Teen Wolf was pretty popular at the time. So, yeah, I mean, Dylan O'Brien, I still always think Dylan O'Brien should be a bigger name star. Like, he's been stuff here and there, like the Maze Runner movies were hits and miss. He could have gotten a big star out of that movie American Assassin with Michael Keaton. That was a solo bus. Man, Dylan O'Brien, I think, is a terrific actor. I really hope he gets like the role of his lifetime. Like maybe the Flash. That's just I don't know. How cool would it be if we hear that Dylan O'Brien is the new Flash replacing Andrew? That would be cool. But Will's that we're gonna see. But that aside, the first time is really a film that doesn't really get talked about, but it's actually a really nice little film if you guys ever seen that. I mean, it's not just like straight up comedy about people losing everything. It's nothing like American Pie. It's nothing like Porky. It's nothing like that. It actually has more heart than something like American Pie does. I love American Pie. Don't get me wrong, but this is nothing like American Pie at all. So yeah. All right, now films turning 20. We got The Rain, which is maybe one of the coolest horror movies of the past 20 years. This is of course a remake of an American remake of Ringu, I think it's called. Was that the horror remake? The original, and this also starred Naomi Watts, and it's where like an evil lady kills people who watched it after 7 days. And we got this news reporter named Rachel Keller, played by Naomi Watts, who was skeptical of the story until all four teenagers died mysteriously exactly 1 week after watching just a tape. And she tried to track down the video, watched it, and she just has 7 days to unravel the mystery before she dies there. It also has Martin Harrison, who was just in the movie X recent. The Ring is awesome. I mean, this movie is one of the creepiest films there is. The Ring 2 is not so great. I did not mind Rings, by the way. I mean, so many people hate Rings. I didn't really mind Rings so much. How can you really do Ring today? Because let's be for real, it involves a videotape. Who watches videotapes anymore? But The Ring is really cool. And Samara maybe one of the creepiest on-screen kids you ever want to see. Like the actress who plays her, I think her name is Devay Chase, who also voiced Leo, by the way, in Leo and Stitch. Cool, cool little tip for you there. But I thought Chase was so good as Samoa. I mean, if like just her, creeping out of the video, like the TV. I mean, let's be real. We can't really take this movie seriously after watching Scary Movie 3, obviously. But take Scary Movie 3 aside, this movie is so creepy. I mean, it's one of the most creepiest pieces of teen movies I ever want to see. So, yeah, The Ring is a really good one. All right. Also turning 20, we got Autofocus, which is actually directed by Paul Schrader, who directed stuff like American Gigolo. He done what was that movie with Ethan Hawke? He also did the Card Counter. Dang, I forgot the name of that H24 movie he did with Ethan Hawke. Dang it, where he's like a priest. Oh boy, I don't know why it's. Dang it, what's the name of that one? Yeah, I can't remember. But that aside, Autofocus. If you guys don't know much about Autofocus, it is a biopic about former Hogan's Heroes star Bob Crane, played by Greg Kinnear, who is so good here, and who pretty much projects a wholesome family them image. But there's also fronts Masters persona. He's also a sex addict too, who records and photographs his many encounters with women. And he is and it also showcases friendship with John Henry Cochran, played by Wayne Dafoe, and reveals how Crane's double life took a toll on him and ultimately led to his death. Like Bob Crane, if you guys don't really know much about the story, Bob Crane's tragic passing is one of the most mysterious. Because till this day, no one knows how like who killed Bob Crane. No one knew how Bob Crane died. They know how he died, but till this day, Bob Crane's death really remains a mystery. And Autofocus is a really great film. You have Maria Bellows in this. Greg Kinnear was a great Bob Crane. I mean, yeah, this is a really intriguing film we're checking out. Very intense though, but it really showcased on who Bob Crane was and what uh and it's like relationship stuff, who he was outside Hogan's Heroes. I mean, yeah, Autofocus is really good. Now we got a couple of other movies turning 20. We got Real Women Have Curves, which was actually the first feature that America Ferrera starred in. It was like a breakout role. You also had George Lopez was in this. And it's a story of the first generation Mexican American girl and her passage to womanhood. And although she wants to go away to college, she must battle against the views of her parents who think she should stay home and provide for the family. And as a compromise, she also works with her mother in a sewing factory over the summer and learns some important lessons about life, helping her make decisions about her future and all. Yeah, this is a really intriguing film. I mean, it's really like you don't really see many Mexican American films coming of age films, I should say. And American Ferrera, obviously, she would go on to do stuff like Superstore, Ugly Betty, Sisterhood of Child Pants. I love American Ferrera. She's always good and stuff. And George Lopez was really good in this at playing her dad. You also had the actress Lupe. I forgot her name, but she actually played Selena's killer in the movie Selena. I think the actress name is Lupe Altavarios, I think her name is. She was really good in this. I mean, really nice little film if you guys haven't seen that. Last but not least, we got the horrible horror thriller Quite Abandoned, which stars Katie Holmes, a very young Charlie Hunnam, like years before Sons of Anarchy. And it stars Katie Holmes, who plays a senior at one of America's most prestigious universities. Um, and she's under enormous pressure to complete her thesis and earn a top job at one of the world's most competitive consulting firms. And she is still coping with the sudden, unexplained disappearance of her first love 2 years prior. And the investigation still continues, and Katie is forced to choose between, past passion and new possibility here. Abandoned is not so good. I mean, it was of course one of King Holmes's earliest films here, but it was not so great at all. It was pretty boring. The twist, like, had a horrible twist here. Had a good cast though. You had Benjamin Bratt, Charlie Hunnam, Zoe Deschanel, Gabrielle Union, but yeah, the movie is not all that great. But anyway, let me lead you guys. Which of these films stand out you most? The 10 one, probably going to be a session. That's probably the better movie. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Simi sign out.